Hey guys, welcome back and thanks again for tuning in. Today I'm going to be shooting another cooking video for you guys featuring one of my all-time favorite recipes that I actually didn't discover until January when I was in the middle of Whole30 and I was trying to avoid all things processed, and I still sort of try to do that when I cook for myself during the week, but can't always stick to it. But this is a really easy, healthy meal that's also delicious and full of flavor. And it's something, if you live alone or you're single or whatever, it's great because it makes a lot of leftovers. Or on the other hand, if you are hosting people for dinner, there's a lot of it, so you can host a bunch of people. So it's really good. Like I said, it's super easy. I'm going to speed up the chopping process, but I am going to show you how I do everything and what I add and do all of that. So let's get started. First, you want to wash and then cut up all of your vegetables and put them in a separate bowl from the meat, obviously. Now, the key to this is to always try and buy some pre-cut up vegetables. I always try and buy the organic diced onions and the diced carrots because it just makes the process faster and easier. And I pretty much use the whole thing of carrots. Get it open. Surprisingly, they also add a lot of great texture. It's not crunchy per se, but it diversifies the texture a little bit more from the peppers. And then I use about half of the onions. Then we've got bell peppers. We've got a red bell pepper. With all of these vegetables, you will want to dice them up pretty small, just because since you'll be putting them in lettuce wraps, you don't want like huge big chunks of anything. It just makes it easier to eat. It mixes up a little bit better that way. So try and dice it pretty small. Now, in the original recipe, she says that you can add whatever vegetables you have on hand. I'd say this is probably my favorite mix of ones that I've tried. I think the carrots are a great addition, and an extra poblano pepper I think adds a little more flavor, as well as a jalapeno. But other than that, I pretty much stuck to her recipe with ingredients. Now with the jalapeno, I only use one and I don't use all the seeds. I put a little bit of the seeds in there, but that makes it infinitely more spicy. And while I want spice, I don't want it to burn my mouth off. So just kind of de-seed it as you see fit, and then add the stem part of it. So now we have a good selection of vegetables in here. It's super colorful, it's very pretty, and it's gonna be so good. Before I get started on the meat preparation, I like to make sure I have all of the spices ready as well, because once things start cooking, you kind of have to get it all together at once. It's sort of a quick process, so let's do that. And this is something I sort of have just figured out, the amount of stuff I liked, and I'll list what the original recipe calls for. But I usually add more spice now because I add more vegetables than she has in hers. So I want to make sure it's lovely tasting. Where's my little doodad? Here we go. So we got some cumin. Usually do a little bit like that amount. And then you gotta have more chili powder than cumin. So I'll usually put like 2.5 tablespoons of that. Freshly ground black pepper. Salt. I'm gonna add more salt later. Go ahead and put these away. And then the final ingredient for the kind of spices is garlic. And I think you heard this last time, always put more than the recipe recommends because I love garlic, and in my opinion, you just can't ever have enough. All right, now that I've finished with the vegetables and the spices and they're ready to go and just sitting aside, now I start on the meat. So now I've heated up the pan, it's at high heat. You just want to brown the meat. So this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna pop it right on down there. And I suggest that you use a wooden spoon to get it all separated. You don't want big clumps forming. So just make sure you're doing that. And keep an eye on it, because they form fast. Okay, we're nearly ready to drain it, although there's not a ton of water coming out or juice coming out of the beef today. So I may just leave it in there to give the vegetables some flavor, which is what I usually try to do. But sometimes if there's a lot of juice, I've got to drain it, but it doesn't look like I have to do that today. All right, it is thoroughly cooked. We'll now add the vegetables. Stop using this. Now you just get in real good. And I sometimes I make a mess with this. You really need a big skillet for this. I probably should get a bigger one, but this is what I've got right now. And this is what I've been using for months. So it hasn't caused many problems. It's just it can get a little messy. Now the recipe says to only cook the vegetables for like 3 minutes. But I like to put them in for like 5 or 6 to get the vegetables a little bit more soft. I don't like things to be super crisp, the veggies. Since there are carrots in here, you want those to be pretty thoroughly cooked. And I put the vegetables in right when it got done being pink. So it hopefully won't overcook the meat. I've never had that problem before. But if you're worried about that, another option would be to separate the meat and the veggies. So before putting the vegetables in here, take the meat out and put it in a separate platter or dish for the moment, and then cook the vegetables for like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your desired level of crispness. But I think today we're just gonna do a few minutes on here. You can tell it's starting to get a little bit softer in there. See how those veggies are cooking down? Now that it's been cooking for a minute, I'm gonna add the spices. So we've got the spices, adding them all in, don't wanna miss anything. And then we'll mix it all up. And you'll cook it with the spices for another 3 minutes to make sure everything is good and coated. Oh my god, it smells so good. At this point, I'll usually add some more salt. It brings out more flavor of the vegetables. I wouldn't say it adds flavor, but it definitely brings the flavor out of the things you're cooking with. Actually learned that at a cooking class once. That looks pretty darn good to me. What do you guys think? I wish you could smell this through the screen. It really is excellent. Okay, I think we're done with that. So now I'll take my lettuce, and this is usually the plate that I'll eat with. I probably won't end up using all of these, but I like to have enough just in case. And so I have a spot on my plate for the mix. And so I'm just gonna add the taco mix here. And feel free to have seconds because you know it's healthy. But basically, you've got the avocado, and you cut it all up already. And so then I'll just add it on top and mix it in. Oopsie. You get the idea though. And there you have it. That's the recipe. It is so good. I just know it's gonna be a household favorite for you going forward. It's not that pretty, but it's super delicious, healthy, filling, and Whole30 approved. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Give it a try. Comment below with any feedback and if you want to see more of these videos. And I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. Now I'm going to take this and go eat it because it's dinner time. So I will catch you guys later.